Success doesn't just happen. It's not some random twist of fate or an accident. It starts with one thing: you believing in yourself. Think about that for a second. The foundation of every success story, every breakthrough, every single achievement, no matter how big or small, is built upon self-belief. If you don't believe in yourself, then how do you expect anyone else to? People will doubt you, the world will question you, and at times you may even doubt yourself. But that's when the real test happens. That's when your belief has to be stronger than your fears, stronger than your doubts. And that belief, it has to come from within. The problem with a lot of people today is they look for validation outside of themselves. They search for approval, for someone to tell them they're good enough, that they have what it takes. But what happens when that external validation doesn't come? They lose confidence. They lose direction. They lose the will to keep pushing forward. That's why believing in yourself is the first step. You have to be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter. When you wake up in the morning, you need to look in the mirror and say, I can do this. I'm capable. I have what it takes. And you need to believe it. You need to believe it so strongly that no matter what happens throughout your day, that belief doesn't waver. But believing in yourself doesn't mean that you won't face challenges. You will. You'll face setbacks. You'll face obstacles. You'll face moments where everything seems to be going wrong. But that's the test. That's where your belief gets put to the fire. It's easy to believe in yourself when things are going well. But can you still believe in yourself when you're staring failure in the face? Can you still believe when everything around you is falling apart? Because here's the truth: failure is a part of success. Every successful person has encountered failure at some point. It's not the failure that matters, it's how you react to it. Do you let failure define you, or do you use it as fuel to push forward? Self-belief doesn't mean you have all the answers or that you're perfect. It means you trust yourself enough to keep going even when you don't have all the answers yet. It means you believe that with persistence, hard work, and determination, you will figure it out. When you believe in yourself, you take action. You don't wait for the world to give you permission. You don't wait for things to be perfect. You take action. Even when things aren't ideal, you make progress, even if it's just a little bit at a time. You don't let perfectionism paralyze you. You just keep moving. Self-belief also means not letting other people's negativity or doubt get to you. There will always be critics, people who tell you that you can't do it, that your dreams are too big, or that you're not good enough. But here's the thing: they don't define you. Their words don't matter unless you let them. Don't let anyone. You are the only one who gets to decide what you're capable of. One of the greatest things you can do for yourself is to surround yourself with people who believe in you. But even more important than that is developing your own self-belief. Once you have that, once you know without a shadow of a doubt that you have the strength, the skill, and the tenacity to succeed, then nothing can stand in your way. Your self-belief will become your shield, your armor, and your fuel. It will push you through the toughest of times. It will help you overcome the doubts and fears that try to hold you back. It will keep you moving forward when everything else tells you to quit. So take the time to build your self-belief, recognize your strengths, embrace your uniqueness, know that you are capable of more than you think. Success doesn't require perfection, it requires perseverance. And perseverance begins with self-belief. Believe in yourself, because when you do, you unlock the door to everything you've ever dreamed of achieving. You are the author of your own story. And that means you have the power to shape it, to direct it, and to create the narrative that you want to live. Far too often, people let their circumstances, other people's opinions, or life's challenges dictate how their story unfolds. They allow others to take the pen out of their hand and write a narrative for them that doesn't align with their true potential. But you're in control of your life. You're the one who decides what happens next, not anyone else. Your life is not a script written by others. It's your personal manuscript. And you get to write every chapter. Think about that for a moment. Every day you have the opportunity to write a new page, a new scene, a new paragraph in the story of your life. No one else has the power to determine how your story unfolds unless you give them that power. You are the one who decides what goals you set, how hard you work toward them, how you face adversity, and what impact you want to have on the world. The power to create the life you want is in your hand. That doesn't mean that life won't throw challenges your way. Life will test you. There will be plot twists, unexpected turns, and obstacles that seem impossible to overcome. But just because there are bumps in the road doesn't mean the story is over. In fact, those moments of adversity can become some of the most defining parts of your story. It's in those moments that your true character is tested. Will you rise to the occasion, or will you let the challenges define you? It's your decision. When you understand that you are the author of your own story, you realize that you are not bound by past mistakes, failures, or limitations. Those things don't have to dictate how your story ends. Every day is a new opportunity to turn the page and start fresh. Every day gives you the chance to write a new chapter, to make a different choice, and to chart a new course. And the best part is, you don't have to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out, and you certainly don't need to have all the answers right now. What you need is the belief that you have the power to create a future that is uniquely yours. So stop letting other people define who you are or what you can do. The world is full of voices that try to tell you who you should be, what you should do, and where you should go. But none of those voices matter more than your own. The opinions of others are just that, opinions. They are not facts. And they certainly don't have to be your truth. Your truth is something only you can define. You have the power to decide how you want to show up in this world, what kind of person you want to become, and what kind of impact you want to leave behind. Don't let fear hold you back from writing the story you truly want. Fear is one of the biggest things that will try to stop you from taking control of your narrative. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment. These are all obstacles that will try to convince you that you're not capable, that you shouldn't even try. But here's the thing. Fear doesn't deter. Courage is what allows you to write the next chapter, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. Courage is what pushes you to keep going, even when the road ahead is uncertain. If you let fear control your story, you'll find yourself stuck in a never ending loop, unable to move forward. But when you decide to take the pen back into your hands and face your fears head on, you unlock the possibility of greatness. Taking ownership of your story also means owning your choices. You can't blame your past for where you are today. Yes, your past may have shaped you, but it doesn't have to define you. Every decision you make from this point forward has the potential to change your life in a significant way. The choices you make today will determine the direction of your story tomorrow. So if you don't like where your story is heading, start making different choices. You have the power to make those changes, and you have the power to rewrite your future. It all starts with you and the decisions you make. Moreover, understanding that you are the author of your own story means accepting responsibility for both the highs and the lows. We often like to take credit for our successes, but we shy away from taking responsibility for our failures. But the truth is, both are part of the same narrative. It's through failure that you grow and learn. It's through success that you see the fruits of your labor. Embrace both with grace, knowing that every part of your story is contributing to the person you're becoming. Don't be afraid of the mistakes, because they're teaching you valuable lessons that will only make your story richer, deeper, and more impactful. Finally, understand that you are not writing this story alone. Along the way, you'll meet people who will help you, who will challenge you, and who will inspire you. They will become characters in your story, playing important roles in your journey. But while their presence is important, never forget that it's your story. They may influence the plot, but you decide how the story unfolds. So take charge of the narrative, and don't let anyone else take the pen out of your hand. You are the author of your own story, and you get to decide what happens next. The opinions of others have a powerful way of influencing how we see ourselves. Whether it's well-intentioned advice, harsh criticism, or even casual comments, these opinions can shape our beliefs about what we are capable of. The problem arises when we allow those opinions to define our limits, when we let the judgments and views of others dictate what we think we can or cannot do. But here's the truth. Other people's opinions do not have the power to determine your potential unless you give them that power. Your limits are not defined by what others think of you. They are defined by what you believe about yourself and what you choose to do with that belief. Too often, people accept the limitations that others place on them. Maybe it's a teacher who told you that you weren't good enough, or a friend who laughed at your dreams, or a relative who doubted your abilities. Those words can sting, especially when they come from people you trust or look up to. But those words do not hold the power to stop you unless you allow them to. The moment you start believing in other people's perceptions of your abilities, you begin to limit your own potential. It's like putting a cap on yourself before you even get started. You start to think, maybe they're right, and you begin to shrink your dreams to fit into the box they've placed you in.